You're late.
Okay, we are live.
We're live. How exciting. Hello, everybody. How are you tonight? Wait, we have to show off our shirt, Steve.
Oh, yes.
Coincidence, actually.
Oh, shoot. I'm on the wrong camera to try to do that.
That stupid studio mic or studio camera.
Oh, boy.
Yes, we coincidentally wore NASA shirts today.
Lindsay!
All stand as Lindsay the daughter has entered the room. Yes, we were just standing. All right, it is time for roll call according to Mike. Sandy's not here today. She put Jill in charge. So no back talk, Kevin. We have Kevin and Drunk Nick Nolte and Frank and Grumpy Mike and Jill and Lindsay the daughter and NASA Nut John and Zoe brought us bacon tonight. So everybody's happy. Are the kids here watching tonight, Linz? Should I say hi to Forbes and Sienna? Hi. You should wave to him too, Steve. You can say hi in their names, you know. It'd probably be a little more fun for them.
I don't know if they're watching.
Oh, maybe not. She didn't answer, did she?
Yeah.
That's
okay.
I still said hi to my grandkids. It's okay if you don't care about them.
I'll
you probably
wait for
want me to start.
confirmation.
This is not going to be a long show, though.
Yeah.
Because there's lots pre-recorded. Well, almost took a drink out of the thing that's in my first story.
Wait, what's your...
You've got a dog that knows the word bacon? That's scary. Oh, I have lots of new toys, but I'm not going to talk about them tonight. Look at this. It's a new microphone. It's very good, and it's $70. And I want you to notice behind me. Do you see this nice purplish glow behind me?
No.
That is a $70 light. Make me full screen.
All right.
See that purplish glow? If you look, can I show it? No, I can't show it. I'm too lazy to show it. Well, I'll show it next week. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, almost. There it is sitting on. Well, you keep making me smaller. There it is sitting on the chair thing there. It's hard to point like that. Anyway, that's
You
also inexpensive.
Quite a reflection on your DTNS
Glasses.
frame or glass.
But my head covers it up.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. I wonder what that's coming from. Maybe it's from that
Well,
new light.
you had a piece of cardboard rotating it so it wouldn't do that. But then we took it out and then we put it back. I put it back and I don't know where the cardboard thing went. That's why. All right.
All right. Let's see. Let's go to this view.
All right. Are you ready?
Yep.
Here we go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, January 28th, 2024, and this is show number 977. I wonder if I'm going to be able to hit that exact note timing when I go over 1,000.
All right. You're going to have a couple extra syllables in there.
I know. What are we going to do? Save and add chapter marks. Good idea, Kevin. I will save and go to the right audio folder and see. Yep. There we go. Why are my system sounds are coming out of my Mac? That's not right. Get out of there. Okay. There we go. This week, I desperately wanted to argue with someone about the incessant hand-wringing that's going on right now about how Apple wants 12% of the revenue that developers will make when they were forced to allow third-party payment systems. I know, it's 27% for the rich developers, but for the regular developers that are, I think it's like 90%, it's really only 12%. Anyway, I didn't want to do a simple rant on the NosillaCast, so I asked the guys over at the SMR podcast if I could come on and argue with Rod Simmons about it. He's usually good for taking the opposite of whatever side I'm on, and they thought it was a grand idea. So open your podcatcher of choice and download episode 604 of the SMR podcast called The Apple Decision with Allison Sheridan, or you can follow the link in the show notes. I had a complete blast, and I think they did too. And, if you're already there, you might as well just subscribe to the podcast. righty. I think I'll do another chapter mark. Don't want to be too efficient. Marty, I think I'm going to do your conversation with me next week. Curious what debamifying? Well, a Bama is somebody who doesn't understand, I guess. Maybe that's kind of a good description of it. So if you're a Bama, being a Bama is not it's not an endearing term. Let's put it that way. So if you're debamified, you'd be better than before. All right. This is going to sound like one of those "these kids today" articles, but I'm going to say it anyway. Evidently, these kids today use YouTube as a podcast listening service. Now, I get watching videos through YouTube, but I'm talking about listening to audio podcasts through YouTube. It makes no sense to me when podcast listening apps are so useful. But then I think about the basic tenet of working with audiences. If you want to increase your viewership or listenership or readership, you need to go where they already are, not try to force them to go where you want them to be. If people are already going to YouTube, why not provide them the content where they want to be? I turned to... When Jill from the Northwoods first started podcasting, I turned her on to the Auphonic service I use. It does all kinds of magic for me. I told you about Auphonic in detail back in May of last year, but it basically converts my uncompressed audio to MP3, it sends the audio file to my hosting company, and it auto-generates the transcripts of the show for you. And it does level my audio as well. Now, I'm glad I told Jill about Auphonic because she pays attention to new features. And a few months ago, she pointed out that I could toggle on a checkbox and my podcast would automatically be sent to my YouTube channel. Again, I think it's weird to listen to an audio podcast on YouTube, but since people like to do it, we figured why not. Now, Auphonic takes my album artwork and then it puts a little waveform over it as you hear me talk. So it's technically a video, though a not very interesting video. Now, I'm not sure which service is creating them, but if you toggle on closed captions, you could read along with what's being said on the show. For the NosillaCast, Auphonic also sends over the chapter marks, so you can jump from chapter to chapter in the audio as you're listening. That's really pretty cool. You also get the links to the show notes below it. Now, it's not just the NosillaCast that's now on YouTube for your listening pleasure. It's also Chit Chat Across the Pond and Security Bits. I've mentioned recently that Auphonic also creates swell chapter marks for Security Bits and Chit Chat Across the Pond. But for some reason, right now, while I chose to tell the chapter marks to show up in real podcatchers, no. But for some reason, while those chapter marks do show up in real podcatchers, the ones for Security Bits and Chit Chat Across the Pond are not showing up in YouTube. I've been talking to developer George from Auphonic, and he can't quite see a reason why it's not working yet. He was able to get it to work on something for him, but between us, I'm sure we'll get it sorted. And eventually, you'll see the auto-generated chapter marks for Security Bits and Chit Chat Across the Pond in this YouTube video that's actually just audio. Now, all of the podcasts from the Podfeet podcast are on the same channel, along with the fabulous real videos that Steve creates when we do interviews at shows like CES and the CSUN Assistive Tech Conference. In other words, there's a lot of reasons now to subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Now, I could send you a long, annoying URL, but we know that everything good starts with podfeet.com, right? So you can find the audio podcasts and Steve's videos over at podfeet.com/YouTube. Alrighty.
Mike informed me we didn't have the right live show up. I didn't have the live show up on YouTube.
What are you doing right tonight?
Oh, everything.
Everything. All right, let's see. He wants a chapter mark. Let me close this one. Has anybody ever listened to the podcast on YouTube? Did you all know about it? Jill does. Really? You kids today?
You kids.
Wait a minute. I'm missing a link. Yeah, where'd it go?
Which one?
The candles.
Oh, I don't see it in there. Yeah.
Right. I felt like something was missing. I put it in because I was going to read that one. Let's see, where should I put that one? Maybe I'll do it after meter.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, I brought them up. See if people want to see them.
Did you notice there's only two? Because I've got it in my hand. I've got it right here.
Oh, you have one too? Okay.
You didn't notice they weren't all there?
I thought we only had two. We have three?
You're just going on all cylinders here. Okay,
No, I didn't know that we had.
Version refresh.
All right.
Okay. So let's do meter. It's going to be a long show, guys. All right. Oh. Let me do the chapter mark. Copy link. All right. The YouTube video will be behind the Discord audio. Oh, yeah. Okay. It was over at podfeed.com/YouTube. Steve does all the barbecuing at our house and all of the cooking, actually, when it comes right down to it. And he won't cook a big piece of meat without using his meter, MEATER. And this is a set of temperature probes that are Bluetooth enabled, tied to your phone, help come out with the perfect meat.
Yep.
And I'm here with Kai Chen, who's going to talk to us about the existing products maybe and the newest products you've got here today.
Yeah, well, first, Steve, thank you, and thank you as well, Allison, for being such supporters of Meter. We truly are appreciative. Because
Big fans.
Oh, that's so great, because we were a small Kickstarter campaign, so anytime I meet someone that's a fan, it truly means a lot to me. But anyway, we can get into the product. So I think what you guys have currently is Meter Block, built-in Wi-Fi, has 4 probes in it. The newest product that we have is called Meter 2 Plus. So we just came out with this November 6th, so just 2 months ago, maybe 2 days ago. So happy 2-month birthday to Meter 2 Plus. And what's different is you'll notice that the new probe, completely redesigned, more robust. You'll notice that the ambient end is not ceramic anymore. It's actually stainless steel. So what that means, it's more durable. So now you can take the probe to higher temperatures, up to 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, super excited.
That's important. Steve just finished telling Kai about how he got grease stripped on one and it got over 550 degrees and it was like, save me! But it actually did survive. So these probes that Kai has in his hand are what, maybe 5 inches long, 4.5 inches long, something like that? Just a solid piece of metal, has a little ceramic band there?
This is actually zirconia ceramic.
Oh.
Super durable. I just learned this actually pretty recently from the UK devs. It's not, adamantium or vibranium, but it is very strong.
Okay, so this is one unit, and the advantage is that it can go up to much higher temperatures?
Yes, much higher temperatures, and because it's also more durable, you can actually deep fry with it. Previously, we weren't suggesting deep frying, but now we say, hey, you can deep fry it. You can, sous vide with it if you like. Air frying is obviously okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So the cool thing about the meter is its connectivity. You've got the application open. We're going to describe it hopefully in detail here.
Yeah, why don't we go through it? So essentially you take the probe, stick it into whatever meat you want to cook, tap the big blue button to start it, and then what do we want to cook today?
It's asking beef, pork, poultry, lamb, fish, or other. Well, I'm going beef tonight.
Of course, beef every night. And then what would you like to cook?
Okay, we've got sirloin, ribeye, flank, T-bone. What do you think, a T-bone? I'm going with the T-bone.
Let's go T-bone. And then how do you like it?
Oh, I like medium rare.
Oh,
So
correct.
good. Correct. All right, I'm going to tap on medium rare. Now it says 135. That's our goal temperature?
It is, but you can also, if you know the specific temperatures you like, you can obviously adjust it to your liking.
I like 132.6. Yeah, exactly.
132.
132.
We haven't gotten to tenths of a degree for the target, but
Okay, fine.
you know what you'll notice though, I'm so glad you brought that up, because you can actually, this is one of the new features, you can actually see the to tenths of a degree
You
for the
can.
internal temperature.
So this says internal temperature 75.2. We got a ways to go. Our target's 132. Ambient temperature is 69 degrees in the room right now.
Exactly.
All right, and that's then going to estimate our cooking time?
Yep, once it collects enough data, then you'll know how long it takes for it to cook. So it'll say 30 minutes left. Now you can go make some sides or grab a drink, kind of let meter do the work.
I'm actually going to stop playing the whole thing. But Steve, have you noticed that the audio has been cutting out a bunch in these?
Yeah, I think that, well, I don't know if this would apply to you, but I think for me, it's StreamYard.
No, that's not StreamYard. That's the
you're
audio
hearing
file.
it direct.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that is.
That appears to be in the real audio, sadly. That's not any processing. That's as recorded.
Yep.
Bummer. All right, let's see. I'm going to see a little bit more about this.
All right.
meater.com.
Very good. Thank you, Kai.
Awesome. Thank you so much for visiting.
Well, I said at the beginning of the interview that we really love the meter temperature probes, and I was not lying. Just this weekend, Steve smoked some ribs. He learned at the feet of the master, Chris Ashley of the Barbecue and Tech podcast, and he used his meter probes, and the ribs were fantastic. They were tender and juicy because he knew exactly when they would be ready. Sound like an ad, don't I?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to talk a little bit. All right. Get on. Oh, and I've also got the remote, Steve. Here we go. I love how candles can give a warm, cozy feeling to a room, but for some reason, I never light candles in my home. When I do light them, I have trouble remembering to extinguish them. I also worry about them burning down to the table if I'm not paying attention and then making a big old mess. I even worry about using them up. I think, oh, these are for special occasions, and then special never happens. What if you could have the warm glow of real wax candles, but with none of these constraints? Steve actually found the solution. For Christmas, he bought me the Tech-Long 3-pack flickering flameless. Okay, too many audios there and that. For Christmas, where was it? What if you could have the warm glow of real? Steve actually found the solution. For Christmas, he bought me the Tech-Long 3-pack flickering flameless candles. They're flameless in the sense that there's no fire, but instead they have a wobbly LED-shaped like a flame. That is right. For Christmas, he bought me the Tech-Long 3-pack flickering flameless candles. They're flameless in the sense that there's no fire, but instead of fire, they have a wobbly LED light shaped like a flame. The normal gentle movement of air inside your home makes the fake flames move just like real fire does. They also flicker exactly like real fire on a candle wick. The Tech-Long flameless candles are made of real wax, so the wobbly LED flames cause a glow in the candles just like real fire. Remember I said that I have trouble remembering to extinguish the candles? Tech-Long candles can work on a timer, which you can control either with a switch on the bottom of them or using a remote control. How fun is that? We have the Tech-Long candles in our bedroom for a week or so, and while I like them there, we eventually put them downstairs on the table under our TV. Every night we turn them on and they give a lovely glow to the room, and didn't even have to hunt down a match to light them. I wouldn't have ever put a real candle underneath the TV because that would be dangerous, right? Well, the candles are powered by 2 C-cell batteries each, and they say they'll last for 1,000+ hours running continuously, or 200 days on the shorter timer. I haven't had them long enough to tell whether the batteries last that long, but we've tried the timer method and just turning them on and off when we're done. Even if we forget to turn them off, our house won't burn down as a result. You can buy Tech-Long candles in sets of 3, like what Steve bought me, or a set of 6, or even individual candles of different colors. The set of 3 ivory wax candles that Steve bought me are 3 inches in diameter and then 5, 6, and 7 inches tall, and they only cost $33 on Amazon. I'm delighted to have remote-controlled candles in my life, no matter how silly that sounds. Oh, you gave him the link to the video? The video is hilarious.
It's a masterpiece.
It's so stupid. It's like the worst video ever.
I'm glad I didn't put that one out.
Yeah. Oh, did you refresh your version of the show?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now you see all the right. So you have a chance at doing a chapter mark count when we get done.
Yeah.
They smell like bacon grease. What? Actually, that would be good. Maybe you could put a little air, one of those air things. What do you call? What is it called when you have stinky things? You plug it into the wall and it makes smell. One of those.
Yeah.
You could combine it, huh? All right. Next up is Everywhere. I guess it ain't going to be that long. It's just going to be a lot of different stuff going on here. There are bacon-scented candles. Air freshener, thank you. No matter how silly that sounds. People are really getting into air purifiers for, I can't think of a reason why, but we seem to be excited about them. And I'm talking to Matthew Blanchard at PurePath, and he's got something very, very different from anything I've ever seen before. Why don't you tell us about it, Matthew?
So what we have here is a device. We call it Airwear. You can find it at airwear.com. And what it is a personal wearable air purifier. It's worn around your neck. And what we do is we pull air in, we disinfect in this magic chamber, and then we deliver it right to your final point of contact. So the air in your general area has now been purified with our device.
So it's a white cylinder on either side, and it's got kind of a rubbery touch area there for some reason. Oh, it's vibrating when I touch it there, and then it's got a little blue nozzle, and that's what's shoving beautiful air at you?
That's absolutely correct. So what we actually have here is a silicone-based material, so itself is antimicrobial and is very easy to wipe. So it's also hypoallergenic, so it's not going to disrupt your skin, or if you have sensitive skin, it's very easy to wear for hours at a time. The battery life lasts over 5.5 hours. It takes about 2 hours to charge, and there's 2 settings, a high and a low setting. And what you felt on the vibration is actually the fan that creates the chamber to create a high power, a high pressure area right in front of my face. So what it's going to do is it's going to blow all the ambient.
I'm going to fix that for him.
That creates the chamber to create a high power, a high pressure area.
See, I think maybe there. No. Uh-oh. Did that again. Dagnabbit. How do I get to the chapter mark? There I am. Okay. I wanted to do this, I think. That's what's wrong. Okay.
And that creates the chamber to create a high power, a high pressure.
Ah, there it is. Right there. No. Not very good at dragging across.
It's the chamber to create a high pressure area. Create a high pressure.
Maybe I don't. Do I not need any of that? Oh my gosh, I'm just doing it wrong. Stop. I don't think that's right.
Chamber, a high pressure area right in front of my face. So what it's going to do is it's going to
just do it
blow
like that.
all the ambient air around you away. So the majority of the air that I'm breathing has now been disaffected.
That's really cool. Now, I'm wearing it myself, and I sort of forgot I had one on. I don't think it's turned on, though, is it? Oh, okay, he's turning mine on.
And it's on.
So now
and it's very quiet, right? We don't hear this. It's not going to disrupt your day-to-day.
Now, I'm not feeling any vibration on mine. All right. Squish that down. Let's go to the end here. All right. Let me see. How long is Jill to decide? Do I go on one side or the other side? That's going to be perfect. All right.
Wait, you're going to Jill next? Because there's a...
Nope.
Oh.
I was looking whether I really wanted the Bemis one on the other side of the support the show or not. The way I had it. Gotta go cook some bacon. And I don't blame you. Getting hungry myself. All right. Yeah. Oh, Al noticed something that none of you noticed. None of you noticed that last week I played security bits, but I played the music for Chit Chat Across the Pond.
Oh, very observant, Al.
Yeah. No, nobody noticed. Is this a test? Yes. It's always a test. That's what you guys are here for, is to catch me on mistakes.
We all failed, except Al.
All right, here we go. This week, listener Corey contacted me asking for advice on how to buy Apple Vision Pro. His question centered around how to choose just the right Zeiss inserts to correct his vision. I'm not certain I gave him good advice, but I did do some research and I did give him my best guess. He was evidently happy because he made a very generous... Come on. He was evidently happy because he made a very generous one-time donation to the podcast via PayPal. I asked him after he did that if he might not want his money back if the lenses don't work out for him. He laughed at my little joke and then he said, quote, "I love hearing your perspective on all things computing and you deserve to be compensated for your creativity," unquote. Isn't that the sweetest thing? Well, you can be sweet too by following Corey's lead and going to podfeed.com/PayPal to show your appreciation for the shows. I thought of something. I should put at the end, I should put in podfeed.com/YouTube. There's another one I should really do. Don't you think I should do podfeed.com/Mastodon? Instead of saying at podfeed at blah, 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 blah.
You're talking about in your outro?
Yeah. Everything good starts with podfeed.com, and then I say
you do have
gloppy.
You do have Mastodon.
It's not podfeed.com/Mastodon. It's at podfeed@chaos.social.
I don't understand what you're asking. You're giving your contact for Mastodon. What else do you want to do?
I could make it a link, a direct link that takes you to at podfeed@chaos.social. I could make a link that all you have to remember is podfeed.com/Mastodon.
Oh,
Never mind.
I gotcha. A redirect kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. What's the problem to be solved? Helping people find things faster and easier. That's the thing to find. All right.
Like everything else you've done with your redirects.
Right. Every other URL is podfeed.com/whatever.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Because everything good ends with or starts with podfeed.com.
Thank you. He's caught up.
Finally.
Does adding the link do that? Well, no, I've got to create a redirect. You know what? I'm going to force myself to do the redirect. We're going to change it.
Not now.
Yeah, we're going to do it.
Yeah, but maybe at the end of the show.
/Mastodon. And I've got to fix my text expander snippet. But I'm going to say that the URL exists before it does.
Ooh, now you're putting pressure on yourself.
Okay.
Bacon related delivery to your home because of this talk.
All right. Let's see.
Someone just said they're listening to the podcast live on YouTube. Does that count? Shoot, I should go
Sure.
over there.
That's actually a different channel, isn't it?
Yeah. The
live channel is
it's a different chat.
Pete.com/YouTube. Okay. HTS. All right. This may or may not work. Let me check it real quick. See if it does. Oh, no, that's not going to work. Oh, it did work. Well, that's only temporary that it works. That's a fake work. Podfeed.com/YouTube. Yeah. Okay. All right. Back to the show. Bemis Bidets. Want to talk toilet seats,
Yeah,
people?
this is right up Kevin's alley. Listen in, Kevin.
All right. Appreciation for the shows. Everybody likes to go to the bathroom, and why not go to the bathroom in a toilet that takes care of you a little bit more than others? I'm here in the Bemis booth with James Ambergy, and he's going to tell us about their products.
Yeah, thank you. Here at CES 2024, we're excited to share some new innovations in the bath space. So what you're looking at here are 3 add-on electronic bidet seats. We have a good, better, and best. And each of them provide the user with the optimal cleansing experience you would come to expect from a bidet product. So what do I mean by that? Warm water, pressure settings, that you can specify, heated seat ring. But one of my favorite products that's new for our lineup here today is this complete toilet replacement. This is the BioBidet Discovery DLX. So while the other products are designed to work with your existing porcelain base, this completely replaces your toilet and has bidet functionality built in.
Why is that better than just adding on to your existing toilet?
Well, with this, you'll get a few extra features where we can start to innovate now with like some of the flush components of your toilet, where these are just add-ons to that. And then one of my favorite features with this actually has nothing to do with the fact that it's a bidet toilet. It's this little foot switch at the bottom here. So the first tap, and typically you do that with your foot, right? It opens the lid, which is really nice. It's hands-free. Second tap opens the seat ring. Now you could do a standing use here if that was your case. And then a third and final tap. What I like about this is that it flushes the toilet and then automatically closes these two. So it really reduces the amount of touch that you have with your hands in the bathroom. But then again, full bidet functionality. There's a stainless steel wand that comes out and sprays the water. There's a warm air dryer. Just a really, really nice user experience.
It's feeling luxury. Now, you've also got a toilet version that's app controlled, correct?
That's right. Just over here, around the corner.
We're going to walk around the corner here. All right.
So this is an electronic bidet seat. It does come with a wireless remote control where you can customize and do all of those cleansing features.
So we can see your rear wash, turbo wash. We got front wash, dry, dryer pressure, water temperature, seat temperature, nozzle position. Boy, a lot of stuff there.
Exactly.
Oh, user 1 and user 2, so
Right.
programmable?
They're programmable. You can use a user preset to your specified requirements, and then it becomes a one-touch kind of operation. But what's really nice, and we have it displayed on the screen here, is we've incorporated an app to control this bidet product.
As you know, we all have our phones in there anyway. Why not?
That's what our research shows.
Those who admit it, at least.
Exactly. And we convinced the ones that said no, just weren't brave enough to admit it yet. But we do think they're using their phones in the toilet. But anyhow, here, this is where you can actually take the stack features now and put them in an order that's most meaningful to you.
Wow, I never thought of tailoring the experience to this kind of depth, but that's pretty cool. So this final one is the BioBidet BB1200. This looks great. So where would people find the Bemis products?
So you can find Bemis products at toiletseats.com, biobidet.com, and then we also work with really great national partners throughout North America, Home Depot, Costco, and Lowe's, just to name a few.
Very good. Thank you very much, James. This was fantastic.
Yeah, thanks for stopping in today. Thank you.
There we go. My first toilet seat review coming up soon. A watch app for it. There you go. All right. Next up, Jill from the North Woods. Marker number 10. Oh, I could have just looked at the number.
Oh,
The
you
last-
have that's not
right
fair.
before I paste it in, it tells me the number.
Okay, but after you've done them all, you still have to count, right?
Yeah. Well, I could start another one. I could do a fake one.
And subtract 1.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
No, I can't get rid of that marker. It wouldn't undo. Let's see, delete.
Do a...
but
yeah.
it says marker 11. So if I do that, it says marker 11, so I know there's 10. I don't have to count.
Just don't leave it in there.
Wait a minute. Is that a beep at the beginning? No. Something. Slide you over. Some little click or something at the beginning. All right.
Hi, this is Jill from the North Woods. You know I want a podcasting empire, and in order to get that, I have to become a lot more efficient. I have to make use of my time processing the podcast, posting the podcast, and doing all the technical aspects of it much faster if I'm going to have so many podcasts. So finding efficiencies or better tools is high on my list. Now, because I'm technical and I used to be a server administrator, I decided initially to host my own podcast and make my website myself using WordPress. It works out just fine for me. I can publish my own feed, I can control everything, and the cost is pretty low. For example, I have 5 websites for about $30 a month. For a single website, you can certainly find places that will give you an introductory rate for $3 to $5 a month. So it's pretty low cost to have your own website and host your podcast from that website. But I've always wondered, would a podcast host help me do more faster? And I love the people at Buzzsprout. I listen to their podcast, their blog articles, and their podcast help me get started as a brand new podcaster. They are really in this for the independent podcaster. There's other groups out there too. Libsyn, Blueberry, and Anchor, which is owned by Spotify. But Buzzsprout always struck me as a different kind of group. Like I said, they just love the independent podcasters. So I've always been curious, maybe they would help me do better. One of the things that's happening is podcast number 3 is going up. And I thought this would be an excellent time to try Buzzsprout, see if it will help me in my processes. The new podcast is going to be The Bible in Small Steps, and the website does not have to be terribly complicated for it because the information that I'm sharing is going to be on a Notion database. So I thought maybe this is the perfect time to try using this. So the first thing you do when you join Buzzsprout is you give them the name of your podcast. And you give a little blurb. What is the podcast about? And then it'll go through and create a feed for you. No technical knowledge needed there. It's ready to go. But then at that point, you have to decide what level of account is best for you. You can do this for free. They will give you 2 hours of podcasting time a month, and it will delete after 90 days. And that's free. And some people are for that. I've noticed that there are people who have about 10 podcasts in their queue. And so I assume that that's what they're doing. They don't have that big catalog of podcasts going all the way back, through time. So my podcasts tend to be somewhere around 20 minutes, and that's going to be 4 times a week. And so that's 80 minutes. I should fit in there 80 minutes. I should fit in there nicely. But think about Allison. She has a podcast and it goes from 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes 4 times a month. And so she would exceed that type of account. So then we will have to go up in levels. The first paid account gives you 3 hours of podcasting a month, and the time is unlimited. They never delete your podcast. That comes in at $12 a month. They also give you a simple website. They create the feed for you. There's some other features too. When you get a brand new podcast, you have to submit your podcast to places like Apple. Maybe you want to submit it to Google. Maybe you want to submit it to Spotify so that your podcast is available on their services. They have a nifty tool out there that when your podcast is ready to go, with a click of a button, you can just submit your podcast to run on those services. Now, it's not technically hard to start a new podcast and get them up and running in the new services, but it probably took me about 3 to 4 hours to get this new podcast set up and to submit it to the various hosts. This is a click of a button and you can submit it to all of them. So that's very nice. The other thing too is if you wanted to import an older podcast, like if I want to take my other podcast and give it to them, I would have to have a paid account. There are 2 side services that you can pay extra for if you have a paid account. One of them is called Magic Mastering, and it cleans up the sound. It gets rid of some of the artifacts, some of the extra noises that are there. And then the other extra feature is called Co-Host AI, which will give you a summary of your podcast, create the chapter marks, and give you a transcript. I ran the first episode in the new podcast and the transcript was perfect. The summary was a bit boring. I use Grammarly to create my summaries and it does a much more interesting job. Everything was usable. Although my best friend read it and she goes, "Did a robot write this?" Yeah, she's right. It did. But it was acceptable. And you also get statistics. And so the statistics will show you how many downloads did you get, what devices they were listening on, and it will show you where in the world they're listening from. Now, I use a company called Blueberry, and they also provide those type of statistics for me. It costs $5 a month. So now if you look at the fact I'm paying $5 a month for statistics, really all those other features would come in at $7 a month. So that's pretty reasonable for me. If you want Magic Mastering at the $12 per month account, it will cost $6. If you want Co-Host AI, it'll be $10 a month. So those are add-ons to that. Then if you want to get 6 hours of podcast, that's $18 a month. And then the Magic Mastering goes up to $9 per month, and the Co-Host AI goes up to $20 per month. I mean, you're basically paying for computer time. So the prices go up when you have more hours of podcasting to process. And then the last tier is $24 a month, and that's for 12 hours per month of podcasting. And at that point, Magic Mastering is $12 a month, and Co-Host AI is $30 per month. So it depends on how long your podcast is to see what kind of cost you will have with it. So again, if we look at that, you could have a site as low as $3 a month with a host. I pay $5 a month for my statistics. And then I also pay something like $10 a month for the various AIs I have so that it can create my show notes, my transcripts, and everything else. So there is cost involved in the way I do it by hand. So having $12 a month for all of this is not bad. Now, in analysis, when I uploaded the first podcast episode to Buzzsprout, this will give me a chance to analyze things just a little bit. Like I said, I used Magic Mastering, and it was okay. It sounded nice. But I know that the system I use, which is Isotope, along with Hindenburg, that's expensive. But it does a very nice job of cleaning up audio. I tend to be a very deep breather, and Isotope does great on it, while Magic Mastering didn't do as nice of a job with it, but it was fine. Again, I said that the AI did a good job with the summary, the show notes, the chapter marks, even if they were a little bit boring, and the transcript was perfect. The website itself, once I set up this website, was boring, but efficient. It worked just fine. It had a place to show you what my podcast was about, along with the podcast logo. And then each episode was underneath that main header. They gave you a little player button so I could listen to the podcast right there on the website. There's some people who don't have podcast apps, so that's great for them. And it works. As soon as that podcast published, then I have the website and it's working just fine. Also gives you a bit of code if you would like to take that particular player and embed it into another website. So it makes it very handy. The one thing I found lacking is that when you have a WordPress site, which is essentially a blog, you can categorize the posts. And so in the case of this new podcast, I would probably want categories because there's 66 books of the Bible. I will want to have a category for Matthew, for Mark, and so on. So the categories are important to me in order to have this string of 1,189 podcasts so people can break them up and then jump into a specific location if they would like to hear it. Maybe they're just interested in hearing the book of Genesis. So they could jump right to those podcasts because they're coded as a category, and now there's a menu navigation to get directly there. With the Buzzsprout, there's no such navigation that's there. So the website was maybe a little too simple for what I was looking for. And the other fun part about it is it tries to make the podcast fun as well as easy. So you get achievements. I got the achievement for my first published podcast episode. And so that was allowing me to test it out. And, it was fun. And I liked the fact they're so encouraging about it. And then the last step is that Buzzsprout will help you monetize your podcast. There are certain rules in place that you have to do in order to monetize the podcast. You have to have podcasts that are at least 23 minutes long. Mine are somewhere in 17 to 20 range. You have to have a verified email and a paid account. Okay. You have to have at least 5 episodes published, and your episode has to have at least 1,000 downloads. For me, getting 1,000 downloads takes a little bit of time. So the monetization part wasn't really going to work for me because my podcasts are too short and I probably don't have quite enough listeners. This monetization program that they have is with ads for other podcasts. And so what they do, and it's really neat, is show you other like-minded podcasts, things that your listeners would like to hear. And then you can approve the list. Nothing will get advertised in your podcast without you approving it. If you just happen not to like a specific person and you don't want their ad in your podcast, then you can nix them. And that's fine. You have complete control over this. And then as soon as the ad buy is done, let's say that person bought 200 listens, this is a dynamic advertising. A new advertisement will get inserted in all your podcasts for monetization. You also can have an introduction to your podcast advertising. So it's cool that they try to help you find ways of monetizing your podcast. So in the end, for me, I think that I'm going to continue hosting my own podcast. I loved the thought of going to Buzzsprout on this last podcast, but I think because of the very simple nature of the website, I want categories because I can host these podcasts myself for lower amounts of money, even though that this wasn't terribly expensive. And I already have the tools set up, like transcriptions and like show notes and all the other things. It wasn't really saving me that much time to go to Buzzsprout. What clarified to me is that if you just want to get a podcast up and running, you don't want to set up a website, you don't want all the technical hurdles of creating a feed, of creating the website, of getting the podcast show notes and everything else involved in it and eventually monetizing, this is great. Maybe for free or maybe for just a really low amount of money. I think that's fantastic. And like I said, the Buzzsprout people, they're so encouraging with all their blog articles, their information, and they have a podcast too, telling you how to be a podcaster. So you just know they love this whole process. So I think if you're thinking about a podcast and you don't want any hassle, Buzzsprout is a great way to go. After this experiment, I upgraded my website hosting and decided I was going to keep hosting my own podcast just because I can have it exactly the way I want it. And again, the technical burden wasn't great for me. But I hope that helps you in making decisions that if you're thinking about getting a podcast going, maybe Buzzsprout is for you. You can always email me at jill@startwithsmallsteps.com, and I'm always found at Allison's Slack channel. Again, this is Jill from the North Woods. Thank you for listening.
Awesome, Ms. Jill.
Good review, Jill.
She's the best. NosillaCast. All right. There is no blog post for this one. But you know what? You now can go to the transcript if you would like a post on it.
Wait, the one that Jill just did?
No,
There
the one
isn't.
I'm about to do.
Oh, I don't see it.
Remember I said I forgot
Usually
it?
you have a
Or-
placeholder.
I know. It's almost like he doesn't listen to me.
Maybe I should refresh.
No, it's not there. I didn't push it up to you.
Ah.
There's nothing to read.
All right, I'm out of here.
All right. No, there is for you, Jill. Of course there is. Okay. And now we're going to finish off with Marty. All right. Marty. I told Marty it wasn't going to play, but it is going to play. But we will not have time to listen all of it, but we'll get it started here.
Black Channel. Again, this is Jill from the North Woods. Thank you for listening.
Too long. Let me slide this over a little bit.
Thank you for listening.
Well, you've heard from Marty Gensius before. I bet you can't hear that. Am I right? Actually, I bet you can't hear Marty.
No.
If I hit right
Well,
here,
we could
can
hear you.
Can you hear Marty?
It's good to be here.
Yeah.
And you were the first one to tag
Can
me.
you hear in the chat room? I'm hearing it here.
That's interesting. You guys have always said, well, if I do stereo, if I don't split the tracks, you can't hear it. I'm going to actually pop it up one and split it anyway, just in case that helps. I've always wondered if Auphonic can deal with it better if it's on separate tracks when it comes in.
Woods. Thank you for listening.
Well, you've heard from Marty Gensius before. He's done quite a few reviews, and actually I've interviewed him before. And if you're in the live chat room, you know him as the illustrious Drunk Nick Nolte. He's also the podcaster with two podcasts, The Tech Savvy Professor and Circular Firing Squad. But he's the first person I thought of when Apple Vision Pro went on sale. I thought, this is someone who will have bought this, and I thought it'd be fun to just talk through the buying experience of the Apple Vision Pro. I'm sorry, of Apple Vision Pro, as they want us to call it. Welcome to the show, Marty.
Thank you. It's good to be here. And you were the first one to tag me with this idea that I have this incredible fear of missing out when it comes to new technology. And so, yeah, I did go through the pre-order process and some setup before the pre-order process too.
Yeah, it's been very interesting watching and listening to what people are asking about, and the parts that you're going to talk about here are exactly where I think Apple is maybe stumbling a little bit, and given too much confusion to the buyer, made it a little hard for us to figure out. I'll do whatever you want. Just tell me what I need to do.
Yeah.
But so did you get up at the crack of doom, or was 8 a.m. Eastern time a normal time for you?
It is a normal time for me, and it's better than the old days when we had to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to satisfy the midnighters on the West Coast.
Those were the good old days.
For pre-orders. So it's a good time of the day for me to get up. I had done some work beforehand trying to call Apple support to find out whether or not they were going to have the pre-setup for new devices, as you can do with the iPhone.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is press the buy button
Right.
at that time in the morning. And I asked twice to two different folks, and it was like they didn't even know that existed in the universe. So it was hard to get a straight answer from them. They just kept saying pre-orders will be available Friday morning at Friday morning at 5 a.m. I'm like, yeah, but you don't understand what I'm saying. Let me explain it to you again. Pre-orders will be available Friday morning at 5 a.m. There was nothing going through that. So that added to some of the confusion and the problems I had.
I feel like that's the classic answer everywhere you go. I went to buy pants today. I said, I want low-rise jeans. And they said, we have high-rise jeans. And I said, no, those aren't low-rise jeans. They said, we have mid-rise jeans. I said, no, those aren't low-rise jeans. They said, we don't have low-rise jeans. You could have just said no when I walked in the door. This, of course, was like 7 minutes to get to that point. So you didn't have to get up early, but you started the sign-in process. And I think what most people are running into is, what do I do about my vision? Because it's Apple Vision Pro, and what they don't really publish is, what is the focal distance? What am I supposed to do if I wear reading glasses and I wear distance glasses, or I have essentially bifocals with progressives? How do I choose what I'm supposed to put on my face? And I think that's where you initially, you started out, you got into the queue right away with a February 2nd delivery, which is the first delivery, right?
Right. And I had problems with my Apple Card. I had stored an old Apple Card because I went to use my phone and hadn't checked it. Whereas a pre-order setup, I would have fixed that problem.
Right.
So I kept trying to submit buy, and it kept rejecting it. And then I realized it's working off an old Apple Card. So I had to make a bunch of corrections in that point. And so I eventually did get a sale once that happened. But the problem was my delivery date was then pushed to February 16th through the 23rd.
Okay,
so that
I
was the
wanna
first.
ask a question here, or maybe tell you a theory I have. I think that date might be a function of how many Apple stores are near you, because at 7:31 a.m., which would be my time, which is 2.5 hours after you did that, I put in, I got up to right before you put the credit card number in, and I was seeing February 3rd as my delivery date. Not delivery, but pickup date. So it seems to me there's some correlation, and I'm surrounded by Apple stores. There are, 3 or 4 within a half an hour of me.
Yeah, I've got 2 about 40 minutes away, depending on which direction you
That's
drive.
a fair amount too,
It
though.
was not, I didn't set it up for pickup though. I set it up for delivery. And I think that might have also pushed the date back.
Delivery was a little bit later. If I did that, but it just really surprised me at that hour. I thought they'd all have been long gone. And let me see really quickly here. February 16th to 23rd I better stop listening to us and finish the show. I was having fun.
What are you at on the show?
56 minutes. So that's a good show. Perfect. All right, let's round about here. Excitement that comes on February 2nd when you get to open your new toy.
Okay, great.
All right. And so again, people should look for the Tech Savvy Professor and the second podcast, Circular Firing Squad, in your podcatcher of choice to hear more of Marty and his silliness. All right. Well, that is going to wind us up for this week. I hope you enjoyed this smorgasbord of different content we had here. Did you know you can email me at allison@podfeet.com anytime you like? If you have a question or suggestion, just send it on over. Remember, everything good starts with podfeet.com, and I've added 2 more things that start with podfeet.com. You can follow me on Mastodon at podfeet.com/Mastodon. If you want to listen to the podcast on YouTube, you can go to podfeet.com/YouTube. If you want to join in the conversation, you can join our Slack community. How? By going to podfeet.com/Slack, where you can talk to me and all of the other lovely NosillaCastaways. You can support the show at podfeet.com/Patreon, or be like Corey and do a one-time donation at podfeet.com/PayPal. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show, head on over to podfeet.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCastaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed.
All right. It's a wrap.
How many chapters do you think there are?
Got.
Don't forget to add one for Marty. For listening,
9.
Stay subscribed.
Do you have 9?
9? I have 11.
Really? Okay.
Stay
Hold on. Let me try
subscribed.
again. You have 11. Huh. That's a record.
And stay subscribed. Okay, so if I had a chapter mark right here, it would be 12.
Wow. Okay, so we are off.
Wait, what have you got? You made a lot of mistakes today. Okay, the Apple decision with the SMR one.
Mm-hmm.
Got that?
Yep.
Podfeet on YouTube.
Oh, that's funny. You're getting the you got the finger up, the thumbs up.
Oh, did I?
When you did that.
Okay. The Apple decision with Allison Sheridan on SMR. Podfeet podcast on YouTube. Meter.
Oh, hold on. Podfeet podcast on YouTube. Oh, yes. Okay. Got it.
Okay, that's 2. 3
Yep.
is Meter.
Yep.
4 is the candles.
Yeah.
5 is Airyware.
Yeah.
6 is support the show.
Right.
Oh, this isn't going to come to that. 7 is Bemis.
Yeah.
8 is Buzzsprout.
Yep.
And 9 is AVP with Marty Gensius. Why
I
does it
think
think...
that's what I said.
Well, no, you started with 7, so... That's
I think you
interesting.
said 11 or 12.
Yeah, it's telling me my next one would be 12. Why does it think there's so many of them?
I think you might need to go back and check those.
No, I just counted them. So it's just telling me the next one would be the wrong. It's gonna be a tense dinner.
Well, you know,
it's gonna spit in my food.
So let me ask this. It's just the one that you're adding is wrong, but there are indeed 9.
Yeah.
Okay, I think what's happening is anytime you add a marker, well, at least this is the way in
let's
Final
see-
Cut. If you add a
let's see
marker,
if I
it
do
just
another
keeps,
one.
even if you delete them, it keeps adding them up.
I'm gonna test that. So what I say it was said 12.
Yeah.
No, it says 12. If I delete it and I add it again, it's 12. That's weird.
You sure you don't have any?
It's 6 o'clock. Look at
extraneous-
the time.
Oh, look at the
Export.
time. We need to go.
All right, 57 minutes. That was good. Thank you very much to Jill and to Marty. That rounded out a lovely show. I'm glad I went back and checked my Notion database to see what it added up to. And fun to see you here, Frank. It's been a while. It's
Thanks
been
for
a
coming.
minute, like the SMR guys would say. I had no gin and tonics. That's the problem. I had water.
Yeah. We need to put
All right.
something in that water.
Was Rose here?
No, I didn't see her at
Rose
all.
in a while.
Not even briefly. Let me check
All
the
right.
sidebar.
Frank's off to the bus station. Roll carefully.
No, I don't see her.
All right. Well, I'm going to say goodbye anyway. Mwah. Goodbye, Rose, just in case you're watching the video. Cut us off, Steve.
All right. We are out of here in a few.